Hi, guys. Wow, I am seriously missing you guys. So, we are going to get back to class. So, what we are going to be doing for the next 2 weeks is we're going to be going through King Lear. So, you guys seem to be interested in that in class. So, it's a good thing for us to do. And here's the nice piece. As we go through King Lear, each week you're going to have 2 or 3 questions that you have to answer. However, all the other assignments are going to be optional. And here's what I mean by that. You're going to have the opportunity to replace any grade from the Romeo and Juliet unit that you didn't do well on. So you may have a lot of assignments that you choose to do in this unit in order to bring your grade up to an A or a B. Or you may choose to simply enjoy the story and do a couple of reaction questions each week, and then we'll move on from there and go into the Odyssey. However, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to really bring your grade up. And it's a great story. So Shakespeare really took the Cinderella story. You've got the evil stepmother, the 2 evil stepsisters, and poor little Cinderella getting picked on. And he turned that into a dark telenovela version of Cinderella. It is crazy how many plot twists and turns you're going to have on this. And instead of asking you to read it, because that would be a little tough at home on your own, instead, we're doing puppet version of King Lear. So when I do a new play, especially when I was younger, when I was your age, I would always start with something like a SparkNotes summary. Now, I never trust SparkNotes entirely because sometimes they get it wrong. But SparkNotes is really good at giving me a general idea of what's going to be happening before I read the actual story. And sometimes students, they're so scared to touch SparkNotes that they don't use that as a resource. And other students think SparkNotes is like brilliant, and they think if they just read SparkNotes, they get the whole story. No, you don't. In fact, I've caught SparkNotes saying some things that were factually incorrect, and I have caught them really having some weird analysis. Like, dude, really? That's what you think? Yeah, I'm not so sure. So, as long as you are treating SparkNotes for really what it is, because many of these are written by college students. So, as long as you treat SparkNotes like another student who's sitting in your group, who is a smart student, who often has really good ideas, and sometimes says something really brilliantly wrong, SparkNotes can be a great resource. So I am starting with King Lear SparkNotes for Act 1, Scene 1. It says, the play begins with 2 noblemen, Gloucester and Kent, discussing the fact that King Lear is about to divide his kingdom. Their conversation quickly changes, however, when Kent asks Gloucester to introduce his son. Gloucester introduces Edmund. Edmund is his younger son. He looks a little older here because evil ages you. So, introduces Edmund, explaining that Edmund is a bastard being raised away from home, but that he nevertheless loves his son dearly. Lear, the ruler of Britain, enters the room and announces his plan to divide the kingdom among his 3 daughters. He intends to give up the responsibilities of government and spend his old age visiting his children. He commands his daughters to say which of them loves him the most, promising to give the greater share to that daughter. Lear's scheming older daughters, Goneril and Regan. Don't these 2 look lovely? Goneril and Regan respond to his test with flattery, telling him in wildly overblown terms that they love him more than anything else. But Cordelia, lovely Cordelia, this is our Cinderella. Cordelia, and now I've lost my place in my reading, Lear's youngest and favorite daughter refuses to speak. When pressed, she says that she cannot heave her heart into her mouth, that she loves him exactly as much as a daughter should love her father, and that her sisters wouldn't have husbands if they loved their father as much as they say. In response, King Lear flies into a rage, disowns Cordelia, and divides her share of the kingdom between her two sisters. The Earl of Kent. Where's Kent? I've lost Kent. We have one for Kent. The Earl of Kent, a nobleman who has served Lear faithfully for many years, is the only courtier who disagrees with the king's action. Kent tells Lear that he is insane to reward the flattery of his older daughters and disown Cordelia, who loves him more than her sisters do. Lear turns his anger on Kent, banishing him from the kingdom and telling him that he must be gone within 6 days. The King of France and the Duke of Burgundy are at the king's court. Which should Cordelia choose? Awaiting his decision as to which of them will marry Cordelia, Lear calls them in and tells them that Cordelia is no longer any title or land. Burgundy withdraws his offer of marriage, but France is impressed by Cordelia's honesty and decides to make her his queen. He's a good guy. Lear sends her away without his blessing. Goneril and Regan scheme together in secrecy. Although they recognize that they now have complete power over the kingdom, they agree that they must act to reduce their father's remaining authority. So they get his whole kingdom and they're still scheming to get rid of him. Yeah, he raised good children there. So we are going to get started with Act 1, Scene 1. I am going to include the link so that you can read along if you like, or you can just do the puppet show. But I do want you to know the story, so keep up with me.